The process of democratization is one without an end as such. It is in fact a march towards several goals at the same time. When we achieved independence in 1948, we thought we had got to that point. But over the intervening years, we have learned that independence from a foreign power is not enough.
I'll do the map because the map's crucial. David's holding up the map. Thank you, David. Who is free, who is not free? Syria, Libya, Egypt, Zimbabwe, Burma. At the moment, there's about 3.15 billion people are free. 3.85 billion people are unfree. 45% live in free countries. 55% live under some sort of despot or some dictatorship, some religious fanatic.
Stamps are important to me. By looking at them, you can see the history of the world since they came about. Governments can communicate who and what you are and what is important to them. Each time you receive a letter, you see the stamp and it reminds you, be it the loss of a loved one in the war, a letter from your mother, words from your lover. The stamp brings that message and you remember. They can save lives, they can turn the tide, and they can celebrate the best of humanity. And perhaps if we remember the good times, we can fight against oppression. So stamps can tell you it all, everything from what birds sing in the Iranian oases, to which flowers decorate the Syrian hillsides, from who is guarding your immortal soul, to who gave you the freedom which you now enjoy.
So I'm going to start with that because I think that's just lovely. That's an Amnesty International stamp for Norway. FreedomProtest.com sprung out of Aung San Suu Kyi being the guest director of the Brighton Festival 2011 and me wanting to make some positive contribution towards it and being in this position to be able to do that. This stamp is copying the 1966 Gandhi birth centenary because the British Philatelic Bureau would not allow such a revolutionary person to appear on a stamp, even on one of these what they call smiler stamps, where they literally print a little label of the photograph you send them and stick that next to one of their stamps. There are only 4 countries which actually declare themselves non-democratic. Those 4 countries are Brunei, Saudi Arabia, Vatican City and Burma. The stamp they produced for George VI was so good, all they did is replace the king's head with the head of Aung San Suu Kyi's father, because the stamp they thought was really outstanding. So just replace the head. This is one reason why I believe Aung San Suu Kyi is bound to be a stamp collector.
Burma has been under a military regime for many years. This is why we need to understand that shaping our own destiny requires not just a sense of purpose, but also a sense of responsibility. We in Burma have looked to Gandhiji as a great leader who combined democratic principles with an unwavering belief in non-violence. And now it falls on you, his heirs. I'm not just referring to the Gandhis, but all those who believe in democracy and non-violence, his heirs, to help Burma at this point to follow the right path in the right way. Thank you.
Burma seems to be changing for Aung San Suu Kyi. So this is why we have to carry on fighting for democracy and against Bashar al-Assad. This man who's unable to look after his own country, whose father appeared on loads of stamps. And I'll be sending a few warnings through my website to Bashar from his father, who must be turning in his grave. Terrible way this man's treating his citizens. We understand it's the president's job to look after the country, to look after the citizens. And this man is shooting them. Democracy, Bashar, is government by the people, for the people. Not for the family, by the dictators. How is stamps going to change the world? Easy, right? If your father appeared on a stamp, you collect stamps, don't you? You know what I mean? And this guy, his father appears on plenty of stamps. That's the way I'm going to get the message through. Because, like I say, I wouldn't go and see many films, but one would go and see a film about stamps. In the last 11 years, in fact, since Bashar's father came and killed, they've lived under terror of the Assad family. It's illegitimate. Daddy says Bashar's been a naughty boy. Bashar will be spanked and put to bed because Bashar is killing his own people. If you allow a bit of democracy, you'll be on your stamps for a while yet. But if you can't allow democracy, then, my dear, you won't be on stamps for long. Here's another despot that didn't allow democracy, that terrorised, that tortured, that murdered. We do not want you to die. You're a good-looking man. Say after me, Bashar, I will stop the killing. I do not want to see my people die anymore. They do not deserve to die, Bashar. They want democracy. They want the rule of law. They want you to have free and fair elections. Bashar, if you are so popular, you might win. You might stay in power. But I'd watch yourself, Bashar, because Freedom Protest is coming with his stamps, and he'll stamp down on you. He's rather tall, isn't he? Got no chin though. For the Syrians, for the people, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, Bashar. So look at you, now look at this. Thank you. I want to make a little film which will be on in cinemas, which Bashar al-Assad will go to my website and say, I wonder what this film about stamps is. And we'll look at it and say, hey, maybe I'm not right doing all this shooting. Maybe I should sort of lighten up a little bit. Maybe I should allow democracy in Syria. Goodness knows, I mean, nothing could be further from the truth, I suspect, and nowhere. First American woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize, Jane Addams. I've been buying a lot of American stamps recently. I think they're really rather lovely. She was a great American political philosopher, champion of democracy, fighter for the rights of the poor. She said, how can I die without thinking that I have done everything I possibly can to change the world? Revolutionary Philately is how I'm thinking we're going to change the world.